Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you do stick around for the full video because this is a very interesting one. It's an experiment with FC Schalke. Now please do leave a like on the video before we get into it, guys. Like I said, I'm posting daily content and I'm really so grateful for your support on the videos so far. Today we're going to be going 10 years into the future with FC Schalke and see exactly where they end up. Now, I've got a few facts for you guys for Schalke, because they are an absolutely sensational team at the end of the day. Rich history, great fans, and, you know, just a good overall club. Now, they've won 7 German championships, 5 Pokals, and 1 Europa League. I do know I've misspelt league, I do apologise. Their last title win was in 2001, which is obviously, you know, a very long time ago. They've got one of the best academies in Germany. They've created stars like Neuer, Ozil, Draxler. Like, you've seen all these players if you've been watching football for years. They have created some sensational players. Unfortunately, after being in the Bundesliga for 33 years, which by the way is outrageously hard to do, so fair play to them, they were relegated because of their 200 million plus euros of debt, which means now their squad is a bit lackluster. I'm being honest. They've not got much depth. And obviously they are struggling to bring in players and pay their own players at that rate. So, I mean, it is a tough situation. But what I'd do is I thought I'd set up a little cool series where we just, you know, advance 10 years, see exactly where they end up. We're going to go over each league, like how the league finishes each year. And then we're going to dive into the transfers. And then I'm going to take over the job and we'll have a little look at the finances, see how they've coped. So let's dive in. So this is the first season here. So, as you can see, we actually finish 9th, which is a touch disappointing because obviously, you know, some teams do manage to bounce back right away, but it's semi-understandable, I guess, because there's not exactly going to be too many improvements made. I would like to say I'm obviously not managing this. This is just a simulation. I'll be taking over at the end just so I can see more in-depth stats. But overall, I mean, it could be a lot worse, but it would have been nice to see us around the 4th or 5th place. What happens in the next season? And so this will be the 2022 to 2023 season. Wow. So we actually move up to 3rd, which is a massive improvement. A reasonable gap from 2nd place, though. But, I mean, overall, to go from 9th to 3rd within one season tells me there must have been some players brought in. Or maybe the players just really wanted it this season. So, fair play for them to get back into 3rd, nearly getting into the top 2 as well. So that's decent. What about the next season? Wow, it took me a while to actually track my eyes down there. 14th place. Really bad. I mean, you know, if they get relegated from this one, I honestly think the club could be in, well, I don't know if it'll ever recover. Wow, that is a real disappointment, that is. So, 14th place in the 2023 to 24 season. That's an embarrassment, that is. That is really bad. Next season, we sit in 3rd again. So, we go from 9th to 3rd, 14th to 3rd, and we were 1 point off getting into the top 2 as well. Which, you know, is very disappointing because I'm hoping we do manage to get back to the Bundesliga within 10 years. That's why I give myself a 10-year window, because I'm like, that should be enough, right? 10 years, hopefully. But very close season in the 2024 to 25 season, but just about missed out on it by a point, which is heartbreaking. Now, what's going to happen then in the next one? In the next one, we are 7th. So we've fallen off quite a lot, to be honest. You'd think after such a tight-knit season, they'd really push on the following year, which would be this year, and try and really secure that position. But they haven't done, and that is very annoying, to be honest. So we still remain in the 2nd tier of German football, which the fans will not like at all, understandably. And this season was definitely a disappointment. Right, what happens in the 2026 to 27 season? We are, wow, we're in 13th place. Now, I'm going to look at the transfers after this, because I've got a feeling we must be getting players in or developing players, and they're just getting poached, because obviously we're going to sell anyone to try and repay this debt off. But that is shocking. I mean, 13th place. Absolutely abysmal, that is. Obviously, Werder Bremen have gone up. We'll see if they come back down. But that is absolutely shocking from us this season. 13th. That is humiliating. That is awful. What happens in the 2027 season then, guys? We are okay. So we get in to, I believe that is the promotion. We get into the promotion period, which is, you know, very good. So I do believe we are actually going to have to look and see. We'll have to go into the Bundesliga, aren't we, for the next season, and see if we can remain in the Bundesliga. So I'll come back to you once we're in that table. That is good news, though, because obviously we went from 13th to 2nd. So hats off to the lads. Let's go and have a look at how we done in the main league in the Bundesliga. So then, guys, we're about to get into it. We're about to see. This is make or break for this club. It really is. Honestly, mid-table would be a good result. But let's have a little look where we finished. Wow. Okay. So, I mean, it's an absolute embarrassment. 18 points. Humiliation, that is. Absolute humiliation. In fact, I am tempted to go and... We'll have a look at the end if I remember. We'll see exactly what the results were, because our goal difference is absolutely abysmal. Clearly, we weren't ready for this competition, but at least they got promoted back into the flight. Hopefully, we see a strong rebound in the next year. So let's go and have a look at how we do in the Bundesliga 2 in the following year. 11th place, so you get relegated, and then obviously the confidence must have been shot. I guess players might have moved on, and we now finish in 11th place in the second tier of Bundesliga football. So we've got one more year to see if they actually manage to get promotion again. So let's have a little look. They definitely don't. Where do they finish? 4th place. So it's a very mixed turnaround for the club within 10 years. So obviously we started in the second tier of Bundesliga football. We got into the, I believe, the 2027 season, got promotion, but then when we were in the actual Bundesliga, it's an absolute humiliation. Complete dominance from the other teams. And we ended up back at the end of 10 years in Bundesliga 2 in the 4th spot. So probably not the overall fairy tale story that people would have wanted. But it's quite realistic because when Schalke, if they get promoted in real life to the main division, although they're going to get a bit of money for that, most of that is going to go into paying off debt. And also, it's quite a high chance they're going to go right back down because they haven't got money to splash to like stay in the league, and obviously it's a lot harder to play the teams in the Bundesliga than the Bundesliga 2. It's just common sense. So I mean, it is quite hard for them to do. But what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some of the transfers, and then before we end the video, we're actually going to take over the job, have a little look at the finances, and see, you know, where they are now in terms of finance. So let's have a little look at transfers. Where are we? Schalke. Transfers. Transfer history. So let's go to the first season. So we sold a few players here, only for about 48,000. Not too many people that I'm aware of, so we're not even going to discuss that. Got a few people in on the free. This season here, we're doing business with FC Bayern's second team, I believe. This is what I mean. We're selling every season, right? So I mean, 2.7 there, which obviously would go towards paying off the debt. All we're bringing in is pretty much free transfers and a couple of, you know, about £500,000 worth of players there. The next window, spend a little bit more, but look at this here. I mean, I don't really notice anyone there. Eric Marcel, I do actually. But here, we're talking 23 million. Obviously, Kabak gone to Leipzig for nearly 9 million. Any other big ones? 2.5 there, 2.6 there, 2.8 there. So we are definitely, they're going to be a selling club for some time to try and repay this debt off, as I do keep saying. Next window, not too much business. There's a lot of things going on, but in terms of money coming in and going out, we actually spent more than what we did going out, and we brought in some people. I've heard of Zimmerman actually. But a lot of sort of, you know, a few loans and frees, which is obviously what they've got to be looking for. That is for sure. No real big names yet. Wow, this is a bit more of an interesting window. So, Plee, obviously from Bayern Mönchengladbach, we all know him. And, I mean, to be fair, this is probably, this is towards where they got promoted. Obviously, not the same season, but this is probably why. Please, a massive player to have in the second tier of Bundesliga football. He really is. 9.2 million out as well. So 4.7 to Man City with Malik Tiar. And 4.2 million there with Amin Harit to Cagliari. I think so you say that. A few loans as well. So they clearly were trying to develop players as well, which is good to see. Next window, again, a bit of money going in and out. So, I mean, what's the money here? I can't say I've heard of him personally, but a signing from Stuttgart for 2.2 million, which is, by any accounts, is quite a lot of money for this club. 7.5 million out as well. Is there any big boys in there? Any big boys? 4 million to Freiburg, who obviously would be in the first tier of Bundesliga football or German football. So each year, typically, we are selling more than what we're spending, apart from one, which is obviously the reality. This season here, very close to what we spend. Now, this is not what you want to be seeing. You know, on a free, that's poor business, that is. Because obviously you spent money on him. That is not good. We've got a load of people in on the free here, which is good to see. But that there is quite a big issue. Anyone that goes on the free when you're in this much of a mess is a real kick in the teeth. It really is. Next season then. So spent basically over double what we sold, but no real big names coming in. A lot of freebies as well, which is good. But then freebies going out as well, which obviously isn't good. So we're sort of countering what we're doing good with what we're doing wrong. So they're not really balancing themselves out too much there. Right. This season, spent 3.9 million. Mustafi on the free, not actually too bad. A signing there from Porto for 1.6 million, which is quite good. Marlon Douglas, I've heard of him. To be honest, quite a good window in terms of that. So we've got an absolute abomination of people going out on the free there, which is not good at all. Where did the 2.5 mil come from then? 1.9 there to Frankfurt under 19s. Frankfurt clearly developing quite well. And I think this is the current season. This is. So we spent 3.1. A few freebies there, which is good. That is good to see. And where's like the big boy signing there? 950k there. So we've only really been signing from the German leagues, which, you know, is decent, but it would have been nice to see them branch out a little bit. And we sold 3.7 million, a load of freebies here, which again isn't good to see. But obviously, it's not as easy to keep players, like giving them contracts, because the thing is, if you can't afford the contract, you can't keep the player, meaning they can go on the free. So that explains quite a lot of these freebies, I guess. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a manager. We're going to look at the finances, and let's just see how far they've gone. So then, guys, we've just taken the job on, just to have a little look. Quite worrying. The finances are still insecure. Quite a poor transfer budget, and the wage budget, obviously, you know, not ideal. But we're going to have a little look to see exactly how they've improved, and we'll have a little look at their team as well. How do they actually want us to just top half? So, I mean, the ambitions aren't exactly great. We're going to have a little look, though, and let's have a little browse into the finances. Why not? So, wow. Quite it's all red, which, you know, isn't good. But let's just have a little look and see what's going on. So, debts and loans. So, the net debt is down to 106. So, I mean, you know, it's improvement, but it's still, you know, it's still not exactly right to the end of being paid off, is it? So it's quite, it's not ideal at all, but there is improvement within 10 years, about the projection. So, okay. I mean, to be fair, there are a few positives in here, like, I mean, this season here, but realistically, I think the only way this club is going to, like, actually recover is to... Well, obviously, in real life, it can be all different. They can get promoted in the first season, but they are going to have a few seasons which are going to be rough. They're going to possibly get promoted, lose their best players, and like this and like that, and that's going to be the way they pay off their debts. And hopefully one day we do see them back in the top flight of German football, because they are a fantastic club, and it is unfortunate what happened, but... If we look at the expenditure here as well, so they're spending like $1 million a month, which is quite mad. 61 million a season is what they're spending on. The loans and repayments is obviously dominating the payments pretty much. Player wages again is quite reasonably high for a team of this size. But I think the next thing we can do is to pretty much have a little look here. But what we're going to do is we're going to quickly look at the players they have. I'm literally going to go into tactics. Let's just do any of these. I'm going to pick their best 11 and we're just going to have a little look exactly who they've got. So they've got a couple of regens in here. I've heard of Korba. He looks quite decent for this division as well. I'm also looking at the value just to see if they've got anyone that could be poached. Looks like a regen right back, up to 2 million. Looks quite good, to be fair. Obviously, they have got a fantastic youth academy. Obviously, that might have taken a bit of a knock. But I'm looking at some of these players, guys, and they actually look quite good, in my opinion. They don't look bad at all. Gimba, still looks decent. Obviously, not world class, not valued at a lot. I'm 34 as well. But overall, I mean, that backline of goalkeeper, this guy looks very good. He's 28, still got a few years in him. A 4-star winger, I mean, or fullback. It's not too bad, to be fair. We're going to PSOT here. 2.3 to 3.1 million. Could be a player that does get poached. Good stats, because you've got to take into account that these players are playing in the second tier, and a lot of these players are capable, I personally think, of playing in the actual Bundesliga. They've actually got quite a good selection of players. This guy maybe not as good with the finishing and stuff like that, but again, in this division, fantastic player to have. What's this guy saying then? 5.4 to 6.4 breakthrough prospect. Looks quite good as well. Very well balanced stats. I mean, a lot of these players probably will get poached, but this is a positive because at least they're going to be able to, you know, get some of their money back. Quite an old winger there. Not the best going forward, I imagine. Fernandez, 1.9 to 2.6. You know, decent, very poor finishing. But overall, that's actually quite a reasonable team, in my opinion. And hopefully, we can see Schalke go back to where they belong at the end of the day. One day, hopefully, we can see them back in the Bundesliga and very, very long future ahead of them. And hopefully, in my lifetime, see him compete for the Bundesliga again. Obviously, Bayern will probably still be winning it, but it's good to see him in there. It really is. But that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed making this. Like, it's quite interesting just to see how the game takes you. Because in terms of simulation, this is by far the most realistic game. And it is realistic of what's happened. It really is. But if you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like on the video. Drop a comment if you want to see 20 years, 10 more years of Schalke's future. Be sure to subscribe as well. Please do turn on notifications because it helps grow the channel. You get notified when I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next one.